That doesn't look good.
I know. I guess I could have coughed before I started the live stream. That's how I roll. Hey, Dr. Tiff.
Hey, Jim.
And the other thing I could have done was got the, boy, I'm like out of my wits today. I could have gotten the Instagram one going beforehand.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I didn't
I
think
see you
of
were too
that.
busy getting that hat. That's what that
I
was.
was getting this hat. And you know what? This hat looks really good if I do say so myself.
It does. I want one. Next time
You
we
want
meet up, I want one.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and hook you up with one. I'll see you in like a month, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, then I will just bring you one there. You want one of these? Like what I'm wearing?
Yeah, yeah.
A flat bill.
Oh, not a flat bill. No.
Not a flat bill. Oh, that was like a quick no.
Yeah.
Quick no. Okay. So you're not a big on the flat bills. You're not a big fan of the flat bill. Okay, here we go. It's not going. Okay, well, I was too late. We're just going to go without Instagram today. That's okay. Hi, folks. Welcome to our live stream. We're sitting here as Jim pretends like he knows what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't at all. I'm like the pilot with zero training who's sitting in the cockpit like, I wonder what this button does. What this button does. Push that one.
Scary. Scary.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hi, folks. My name is Jim, and I used to be a type 2 diabetic, and I love saying that I used to be a type 2 diabetic. I've been saying that now for about 2 years because February 16th of 2023, my doctor said I didn't have to take medications anymore. At that moment, I was in remission, and I have completely reversed type 2 diabetes. I had at one point a 12.2% A1C, and I now have a 4.8% A1C. The entire other direction. Beautiful numbers. And, you know, the funny thing, Dr. Tiff, is prior to Unicity, I thought that wasn't attainable. I didn't think it could be done. And what I've learned post Unicity is that I wasn't alone there. There are a lot of people who think that it can't be done because it's chronic and progressive. That's what we've been taught for years and years and years.
Yep.
And what I know now is that it's a completely reversible condition. And there's no need to have it. And if you have it, you don't have to have it. So
yes.
There's about 1,001 ways. Here's the other disappointing part of that is there's about 1,001 ways that you can reverse it. I'm just going to talk about what I did. Dr. Tiff's going to talk about what I did and how that worked and how it has applied to other people. But it can be done. And if you're sitting here watching us and you're feeling helpless and you're feeling hopeless and feeling like your health is declining and it's going down, well, that doesn't have to be the case. It doesn't have to be the case at all. There is hope. There is help. And if you are new to this live stream, if somebody has invited you to this live stream, as in they've tagged you in this and you got a notification and now you're like, who is this random dude talking? I'm sorry. First off, I'll lead with that. I'm sorry. But stick around for this live stream because somebody thinks that you could benefit from the information that we're going to share in this. And what this really is a court jester. That's me. My name is Jim Grasser, and I have reverse type 2 diabetes, and I talk about that all the time, but people don't hear it as loud from me as they do from Dr. Tiff because she's Dr. Tiff. Doc, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what the letters mean?
Yeah, so no, I'm not a court jester, but then neither is he. He does this stuff all the time. But I am a real medical doctor. I don't just play one on social media. I'm board certified in family and lifestyle medicine. And I actually still have state licenses for still over 20 states. I'm waiting. I'm working on those. But I used to actually take care of, 48 states across the country. So yeah, that's a real doctor. Now, family medicine, that's the specialty that really everyone pops in there and they're like, you have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you have high cholesterol. It's like, you know, giving out gifts. But unfortunately, those aren't real gifts and nobody wants to keep those. I have actually taken my time to learn tools and tips for y'all to get those gifts back. Okay. Give that baggage back and actually change your life. Okay. Give it back.
No,
not for me. But give it to somebody else. Give it somewhere else. Anyway, so I learned these lifestyle changes that we can actually do to reverse these conditions we thought were supposed to be hanging around forever. And so having family members with type 2 diabetes, my father passing with a stroke, after his third stroke, not knowing what to take and not wanting to take medications, I made it my mission to help people who are doing the same thing, thinking the same way, and being able to offer a natural alternative so that they can change their lives. So that's why I'm here, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
And you say he's not the court jester. He does this all the time, right? Something you don't do all the time is talk about your relationship with insuliniq.com. Will you tell us what insuliniq.com is and what you do with Insulin IQ? Because I think that matters.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about it in terms that everybody can sign up and be a member for Insulin IQ, which is a great resource that's led by Ben Bickman, Dr. Ben Bickman. And Lindsay Venn is huge on there too. I think she might be chief medical officer. But the point is, you get to listen and see podcasts from the leading professor in insulin resistance, who, I mean, I am just a huge fan. I like fangirl over him every time I see him. So that was part of the reason why I signed up for it. But I wanted to get the metabolic health coaching certification to add, more credentials behind what I'm doing and to give me more tools. And they teach us some great stuff. So if I have anybody on here that wants to learn how to do that, definitely reach out to me. And if you're just somebody who wants to learn how to eat better, like how we tell you, they're doing the same things and they have great resources.
So Insulin IQ. So this is Insulin IQ, and I'm gonna lead with this here. I know I'm kind of going off script. We don't really have a script. Kind of wing it every single week, but we kind of have a rhythm, and I'm going to step out of that rhythm. Okay, so Dr. Bickman, the guy she just mentioned, he is a professor of cell biology and physiology at Brigham Young University, and that's a lot to say, right? What does that mean? That means he grows fat for a living. He literally grows fat cells in petri dishes, and he studies what they do. He studies that, and then he pays particular emphasis to insulin and how insulin reacts with that. And it's amazing what happens when you start talking about insulin, which is what this conversation is going to be about. That's why she just mentioned Insulin IQ. All sorts of things center around insulin. Keep listening to this conversation. If you're brand new, keep listening to this conversation. This hour-long, now 53 minutes left conversation might just change your life. It changes people's lives every single week. In fact, this live stream every single week gets thousands upon thousands of views. It's kind of crazy that it's gotten that big, Dr. Tiff.
I know.
It really is kind of crazy that it's gotten that big. So stick around for this. On top of that, if you are on the system and you want your sister to know about it, or if you want your best friend to know about it, or a loved one or a friend or a family member, something like that, share this live stream with them. Now, if you're on YouTube, you can just hit the share button, right, and share it out to them. If you're on Facebook, you can type the @ symbol and then start typing typing their name, and eventually it will pop up their name, and then you can hit enter, and it will just tag them in it. If you're on TikTok, you can just share the live stream with them. In fact, I'm going to encourage everybody, whatever platform you're on, and we are on like 15 different platforms right now, whatever platform you are on, let's share this out like 5 times. Let's get like 5 shares. So if you're on Facebook, hit the @ symbol and type somebody's name. When it populates, hit enter. Do that 5 times. If you're on TikTok, share it 5 times. If you're on YouTube, just manually share it with 5 people that you know. And let's get the word out. What we're doing is genuinely saving lives, and it's really special. It really is special. So we have an opportunity to get out and improve the quality of other people's lives.
Yes.
Okay. And that's an amazing feeling. And so the way that this really works is, I like the science part of this. I like to dig into the science on this, and I needed proof. I had to understand why things work. And so everybody always says, do your own research, do the science. What's the science say? Well, that's what I did. I went and did my own research. I read the science, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Now, Dr. Tiffany obviously has some letters after her name that mean something. She can talk about how it pertains in the medical side of things. But then the other thing that we do is we bring in a couple of guests every single week who are having amazing results. And the guest that I've brought in is actually a repeat. He was here probably 10 months ago, Dr. Tiffany. It's been quite a while ago.
Yeah.
9 months, eight months ago, I guess. It's been quite a while ago. 6 months ago, whatever the number is. It's been quite a while. And he had an amazing journey to that point. I can't wait for you to hear where he's at today, because it was almost unbelievable then.
Yeah.
Wait until you hear where he's at today. It's pretty crazy. But then on top of that, we got Dr. Tiffany's guest. So what we're going to do is let them tell their story as it's happened to them, and then we're going to have a follow up with Dr. Tiff, and then the science behind it with me. We'll talk about the protocol. If at any point this sounds like something you want to order, get with the person who invited you to this.
Yep.
They'll tell you all that you need to do. I will tell you as we get into this, it is HSA, FSA approved. So you can use your health savings account. You can use your FSA account. You can use those. Your flex spending, you can use those to purchase this. So let's dive right in, Doc. Who would you like to bring in first?
I don't know. They're two awesome stories. I don't know if we want to get through, mine first.
Annie, it is.
Hey, Annie.
Hey, y'all. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. I love this because, see, we already meet with our people, and then when you guys come back on, it's like, hey, again. No, but for people who missed this awesome woman last night, she was last night talking about these things and talking about her story, talking about these products we love, and boy, is it a doozy. So I'm so excited to hear Annie again. So go ahead, lay the floor for us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, y'all. So basically, my story is pretty simple. I ended up getting laid off back in November, and I knew that my health was in trouble, and I also knew that my insurance was about to end. Unless you're, willing to sign up for that Cobra thing. No. So, my doctor had told me that I was pre-diabetic just shortly before I ended up getting laid off. Also, my 15-year-old son was diagnosed with pre-diabetes, and his pediatrician had referred us out to a specialist. But of course, with us knowing that, with me knowing that I was just laid off and losing my insurance, it scared me. Like, that was probably the biggest drive towards me trying to find a goal. And so, or reach a solution, I should say. So I did remember one of my friends telling me that she was actually taking something that was helping with her A1C. And of course, my doctor said something about A1C, so that clicked for me. And I was like, let me reach out to my friend because I think I have kind of a solution temporarily, I'm thinking at the time. And so I contacted her the day that I found out I got laid off. And I told her what was happening. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you called me. She sent me the information. I finally, by the way, she's been sending me this information for at least 9 months before this. Not once did I even look at it.
Wow.
So I went ahead and looked at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, send me the link. This is exactly what I need. Now, my first initial thought was, I'm going to get my son on it because as a mother, you just automatically, want to help your children. But then I did think to myself, why not me too? I feel like I'm deserving as well. Let's do it together. And so we did end up starting it together. I thought, hey, there's 2 weeks between the both of us here. Let's see if anything happens. Within a week, really honestly, with me, within the first 3 days, I knew it was something. I couldn't pinpoint it, but it was something that I felt in this product that I've never felt with any other product. Within a week, I was scrambling trying to find some money to make sure that both me and my son were going to have this product ready to go for the next following 2 weeks. So I knew that there was a 90-day money back guarantee. So why not? I didn't have anything to lose. So we were on it for a month, and oh my gosh, like the first month, I dropped like 20 pounds. I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is legit. Not to mention, remember, I was laid off in November. We started this program the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So through Thanksgiving, through Christmas, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the true test. Like, Normally, I would have waited to start a diet until after the holidays, but no, I wanted to give it the true test, and I did, and it was amazing. I'm so excited. So now, fast forward a little bit, over the next couple months after taking it, we've been on it for about a little over 5 months, and I have lost 55 pounds total. Now,
Yes.
I have not been strict on what I eat. I do not deprive myself, just throwing that out there. Also, my son he's 15, he has lost 52 pounds. Not only have we lost weight, this product has completely changed both of our lives. My son, at one point last year, his mental stability was so low, he actually had a plan. And when I say had a plan, I had to take him to a mental facility in order to get him treated. His depression had dropped so low that I was so scared. And, I don't want to talk more about that, but I did want to mention that because a lot of people do struggle mentally, and I just was talking to him the other day, and I was specifically asking him about that, and he said, "Mom, I think this has saved my life."
Wow.
So he's doing great. He also had dark marks around his neck here due to the insulin resistance, and so most of that darkness has gone away. So being in high school, it's really sad because kids bully kids, and it's hard, and part of that was, linked to his issue last year. And so we're getting through that, and he's so excited. He told me that, I mean, he even started working out and everything. Like, he's so excited. He went from having C's and D's to all A's and one B this year. um, he also signed up for AP classes next year. Like, I never thought that would come out of his mouth. I'm like, honey, are you sure? And he's so excited. He's so motivated and focused in school now. I 100% attribute this to this protocol that we've been on. Basically, the 3 steps: fasting, sipping on the tea, and then your balance, right before your meal. He sticks to it better than I do. He loves it. It tastes great. That's why I know I could continue doing this program, because it's so easy. It tastes amazing. So outside of the weight loss, I've also experienced, my acid reflux is gone. I've had that since I was 18 years old. Severe acid reflux to the point where I was taking extra. Dr. Tiffany, I was taking 40 milligrams a day of omeprazole, and then taking extra on top of that because that just was not cutting it. And I started getting scared, really, honestly, because I I didn't know what that was doing to my kidneys or whatever processes that medicine. I think it's the kidneys. But yeah, I don't even take the acid reflux medicine anymore. I sleep so much better because I'm not waking up in the middle of the night feeling like I'm choking on something. And then not only that, it's like the mood, the inflammation. Like, I literally could go on and on about it, but those are probably my top favorite things about this awesome product.
There's so much to unwrap right there.
I swear.
So I'm not gonna lie, I traveled and I was wiped out yesterday. I got home at 6 a.m. Literally, I landed at 6 a.m. and got home, and I was wiped out. So I did not get a chance to listen to your, and I'm assuming that was on the science call with Trent last night. And for
It was a little shorter, but because the time frame, with his calls is a little shorter. But I did want to go a little more in detail for y'all because I do want those other parts of my journey to be out there because they're so amazing. I haven't even touched on what my husband's been going through. He's a dialysis patient, and I'm going to be sharing more in detail as far as stuff with him later. I have been I started going live on TikTok with him doing dialysis and talking about this amazing product as well.
Wow.
So that, oh my gosh. Dr. Tiffany, I want to jump in on something here, and it's something that I'm fascinated with. And I love your weight loss journey. I'm assuming your A1C is looking prettier. I don't want to. I got derailed with your son and his struggles because that that hits me. And, because, well, I mean, truthfully, I struggle with the same thing. I did. And I think a lot of children struggle with it today. And I think there's a lot of proof behind that right there. And I did a post, and it's been quite a while ago, but it was on a Dr. Cynthia Culkin. And maybe you've heard of Dr. Cynthia Culkin, maybe you have not. But Dr. Cynthia Culkin, she's a psychologist, and she pays a lot of emphasis, a lot of effort. A lot of her effort goes towards treatment-resistant bipolar disorder. And she found a connection, or at least she thinks she did, between insulin resistance and treatment-resistant bipolar disorder. And it has to do with the blood-brain barrier and insulin resistance attacking the blood-brain barrier. And that is kind of the pathway. And really, to get to the end of the story quickly, is she tested her hypothesis with metformin, and it worked. And when I did the video, it was funny how many people thought I was advocating for metformin. And I was like, God, how did you miss the point? I'm not talking about metformin. I'm talking about the fact that there is a connection between the gut and the brain. It's there. And Confucius was talking about, I mean, we've known about this for 2,000 years. And we think that the solution is medication, when really it's the food. It's the food. And the fact that your son is now saying that it saved his life, it almost puts a tear in my eye just hearing that. I'm so happy for you, because the fear of that would break me. You know what I mean? So, good Lord. See,
yeah. I would love to have him as a guest with y'all at some point so that he can share his story.
I think
I would love that. And hubby.
Great story to have.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, man. That is so awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you agreed to do this the very next day.
Yeah.
We need to hear the whole unbroken up version. This was perfect.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
So, something a little bit different about our live streams is, obviously, I've got your phone as my camera, basically. And so what I want to do is just kind of turn your camera off and leave you what's backstage. And then at the end of our live streams, I like to bring the people back out. And if anybody has any questions for you specifically, they can ask kind of a panel of questions. And it's usually for Dr. Tiff or the panel. But would you mind sticking around for us through the live stream to come back if anybody has any questions for you?
Yes, absolutely. I would love it.
Love it. Okay. Then backstage you go. Dr. Tiffany.
Yes, yes.
By the way, do you like that new angle that I'm doing there?
Oh, is there a new angle?
Well, the one where she's kind of a...
Oh, yes. Yeah, more of
like
a star. Yes, I do like that angle.
Okay, cool. Then that's what I'll do. Okay, Dr. Tiffany, why? What is going on? What's the root cause?
Oh, man. I love it when they come in here with things that are kind of off the beaten path. Nobody thinks of depression or anxiety and links that to insulin resistance, but oh my goodness. And I'm gonna touch on that too. But the problem that even got us kind of focused with all this stuff was the cardiometabolic health. The fact that 1 in 3 people are struggling with metabolic syndrome. And what's at the root of that is actually insulin resistance. And this Tufts University study right here in the middle talks about how, 93% of Americans are struggling with some sort of cardiometabolic problem, heart disease, blood pressure. We're going to go into those specifics. But the medications that we use to treat that, really the one that we thought was going to be the forerunner in reversing cardiovascular disease would be the statins, your atorvastatin, your Crestor, your lovastatin. And that only improves cardiovascular risk by 1%, 1 out of 100 people. But if you actually do some lifestyle changes, you can improve your risk by 39%. And so when we're talking about cardiometabolic health, one of the conditions that is like top of the list is diabetes. And that's 30.3 million. And that's based on the 2022 study. Those numbers have even gotten worse. Okay. So 1 out of every 10 people are struggling with this. And then 1 out of every 4 don't know they have it. Okay. Then you have prediabetes. That's 84.1 million. And of course, these numbers have changed too. And 9 out of 10 don't know they have it. And now prediabetes, for me to explain that, that's when your A1C is in between 5.7 to 6.4. Diabetes is when your A1C is 6.5 and above, okay? Anything under 5.7 is considered normal A1C. So it's that borderline diabetes that we used to call. Now it's actually been diagnosed as prediabetes. But the big kicker here is that heart disease is still the number one killer. It is still kicking our butts in the US. And I mean, it's rising on the list in other countries as well. And you would think that all the changes we've done with the foods we've been eating, decreasing smoking, that this still wouldn't be killing us like it is, but it is. And so clearly that means we're doing something wrong. Okay, we as in the health community. And so I actually got out of medical school 20 years ago and I wanted to save the world. I figured I'm going to help people with all these lifestyle changes. But over time, I kind of got tired of preaching to people that weren't listening to me, or I also didn't give them the tools to be consistent. And so what happened was I was prescribing medications. That became easier, to be perfectly honest. And my people would look like this lady here at the top left with a whole bunch of medications coming to see me like they're going on a weekend getaway with a whole bag of drugs. Okay. But after I decided, you know what, there's got to be something else. I want to get to the root causes of these conditions. I went through lifestyle medicine training and I started actually believing that, no, we aren't bound by our genetics. I think of our genetics as like land we are given. You can choose to till that land the best way ever, take care of your body, and you're going to yield some great crops. Or you can choose to let that land go, let that body go, do whatever the heck you want, and you're going to have some bad crops. I think it is really that simple. That sounds very simplistic. And of course, there's some things that fall out the realm of this, but it is really mostly this simplistic. And so over half of the adults in the world are dealing with insulin resistance. That's in the world, people. And around insulin resistance, because you see it in the center, diabetes, heart disease, the big C, fatty liver, polycystic ovarian syndrome, dementia, that's even type 3 diabetes. That's insulin resistance of the brain, migraines, okay, and body fat. Now, it's important for us to see the symptoms before we actually get the diagnoses, because the reality is insulin resistance ends up becoming an issue 10 to 20 years before those diagnoses start. So if you aren't seeing or looking for these symptoms, you're going to miss it until it's way out of control. So you're looking for things like the dark patches on the neck, like Annie was talking about her son having. Yeah, teenagers, kids are having these things. That's from insulin being too high and overgrowing in the skin cells. Then you have the skin tags. That's from insulin being too high, growing into the skin tags. Cravings for sugar and salty, difficulty losing weight, really particularly around the midsection. Also having irregular cycles, messing with polycystic ovarian syndrome. It really is the leading cause of infertility for women. But hair loss, facial hair for women, man boobs, erectile dysfunction, and then high blood pressure. And then insulin resistance plays a role in thyroid issues. It actually messes with the conversion of some of those active hormones for thyroid. And so you get low acting thyroid, hypothyroidism. The fatigue, I always like to bring that up, the itis, that's not an okay thing. That's not just because your cousins did it or because you guys had a great Thanksgiving. That's because y'all had too many carbs and your body didn't know how to process it. Okay, what is insulin resistance? Insulin is a hormone, and it's not one that you have to take. We make this hormone, okay? Insulin's job, well, the job I'm going to focus on is delivering energy into the cells, and that it stores excess glucose as fat and regulates blood sugar levels. So insulin is this little black man here pushing that glucose molecule into the cell, into the liver, muscle, and fat cells, okay? So what causes insulin resistance is when we have too much of that insulin outside. So when it's too much out there, the cells don't respond as well as they should to let that insulin come in. And what causes too much insulin? The things we put in our mouths. Now, there's other factors in here, but we're going to focus on what we can actually physically control, what we put in our mouths, what we eat and drink, okay? So when you look at the Global Nutrient Database, this is a picture of how many carbohydrates people are eating, how many proteins, how many fats. And if you see this in this pie graph, that's 3/4. 3/4 of what we are eating in the world are carbohydrates. That matters because carbohydrates get broken down into glucose the most. Protein gets broken down into some glucose, not as much as carbohydrates, and fat is very negligible. And so a nice little picture example to understand what happens to your body with these insulin levels when you're eating, especially if you're eating carbohydrate-rich meals or snacking every couple hours like we told you to do, right? So when you first wake up, your insulin is low because you've been sleeping all night. So your pancreas has been able to rest and has not had to release insulin. It releases insulin when you eat carbohydrates. So if your first meal is full of carbohydrates, your cereal, your oatmeal, your toast, your pancakes, your waffles, and even your fruit. And I know people are not going to love me saying this, but if that's the first thing you're eating, you're actually, because fruits get broken down into natural sugars, you're still going to make your body have to release insulin. Of course, fruit is better than the pancakes or waffles, but you're still doing the same thing with the insulin. And then after a couple of hours later, you're kind of hungry again because you ate too many carbs. And so it makes your insulin shoots up to try to bring down those carbohydrates, but it'll overshoot because it will. And then your sugar's going to drop low. And now you're going to want that hit again. You're going to want that sugar again. And you want your snack. And then lunch comes, and the easiest things to grab are your wraps, your sandwiches, right? Maybe pizza. If you don't prepare and have something that's more protein heavy, it's probably going to be carbohydrate rich, and it's going to kick up your insulin level again. Then you're going to go through that afternoon slump, and most people aren't eating nuts in that afternoon slump. They're eating some other things that are carbohydrate rich, and so it kicks up the insulin again. Same thing with dinner with your pasta, your rice. That's going to kick up your insulin again, and then dessert, if you have dessert. But what you notice with this dotted line is it never comes all the way down because the carbohydrates have been making you keep up that insulin level. And it's not that carbohydrates are bad. I'm not one of those that likes to say bad or good foods because that never works. No, it's that our carbohydrates have been stripped of what we need. There was something there to protect us, the fiber. That was supposed to help us from overeating, having better digestion. It was supposed to help us and dampen our blood sugar. But when you remove the fiber, you make it so much easier to overeat. And that's what these foods are doing to us. They don't have the fiber in there. They have a whole bunch of sugar. They have a whole bunch of additives, a whole bunch of colors. They are not our friend. Anything that's packaged, boxed, bar-coded, all those processed foods and ultra-processed foods, no one needs to be eating. There is no diet that says this is okay. I don't care what anybody tells you. No, absolutely no. That's the only no. That is the no, I say. Okay. But there are 5 things that you could say yes to, okay? One is focusing on the protein and the fiber. And when you do that, you end up eating less carbs. That's why I like to use it that way. Focus on the protein and the fiber. And then no processed foods. That is my no. And trying to do your resistance training, that's huge. So many people for so long have just focused on the cardio. But we do need the muscle. We do need the muscle strengthening. That actually helps us. One, because we need it for our longevity, to be on this earth longer, to not have hip fractures and falls. That's something else I'm actually thinking about as I'm getting over a little bit older. Okay, high fiber, because you want that to dampen those glucose spikes and also help you with the digestion and give your pancreas a little break. And then the best thing to give your body a break, the best thing to give your insulin a break, time-based eating and intermittent fasting. And of course, there's so many benefits to this. And most people are a little more resistant to this because it is a little harder to do. But that's part of the fun of it, actually. Autophagy really kicks in when you stress your body a little bit. And so going past that 16 hours, 17 hours, that's actually putting a little bit of stress on your body because your body's like, I want to eat. Well, that actually kicks in this repair process and helps with the healing. That is huge. That's why you're doing that. And so what if there were 5 things to make? What if there were things to make those 5 things easier? And there are. We can boost our own GLP-1 hormone. GLP-1 actually reduces cravings, improves digestion, balances blood sugar. And when I say GLP-1, most people are thinking of the injections, but these are really receptor agonists, meaning they bind to a receptor to pretend like they're your GLP-1. We already have this hormone. Our bodies just have not been responding well to it. And we need things to boost it up. And that comes with our lifestyle. And that comes with some of the tools we like to use, actually. And so when I'm saying GLP-1, I'm talking about the Ozempic, Wegovy. Those are things I'm sure you guys have heard of. But when they made these shots, they were supposed to be for diabetics, right? But they saw all this weight loss. It was turning off the cravings because that's what GLP-1 does. That's what that hormone does. But after 2 years, those cravings were starting to come back. So then people were needing more medications, higher dosages, problematic because they come with baggage. They come with side effects, thyroid cancer, paralysis, gut perforation. We need our gut to be working, not paralyzed or having holes in it, right? So we need something that's going to be able to help us without the baggage, okay? So boosting our GLP-1 naturally is important. One, that gives us the long-lasting energy. You don't have to use medications or shots, and it curbs cravings. So I'm speaking up because, one, I like the studies. Like Jim said, I was one of those that said, show me the studies. I like the science. The chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid is my friend. It actually decreases insulin sensitivity. It decreases insulin resistance, which is huge. And I'm sure Jim's going to go into all that too. And I love the fact that I get these reports from people. I didn't get that practicing. No, I just got a lot of doom and gloom. So I'm loving this now. And I'm loving all the results. And I feel like a superhero. And I don't know how long I'm going to keep this up here because I love this superhero thing, but I can't get rid of it. I'm not ready. And then, of course, to find me, I'm on TikTok, Facebook, IG, Dr. Tiffany Marie, and I'm here every week. Here every week, Jim.
Every week.
Every week.
I was backstage coughing. I've got some sort of head cold setting in.
Oh, man.
I love the way that you put that. That you make that so easy. It's digestible. You make it so that the average person can understand what it is that's going on with us.
Oh, good.
I love that. I love that. That's key. That's why you're such a good teacher. So.
Oh, thanks.
Well, that's why we all love you.
Love you.
She's a rock star. Okay. Well, I want to bring in Michael.
Yes.
Michael. So this is really cool. This is an exciting one because Michael's actually been on here before, and maybe some of y'all remember him.
Yep.
What's up, brother?
Feeling good, feeling great.
So, tell me, first off, for those that weren't here the last time that you were on our live, which was probably September, October last year, probably somewhere around there.
Yep.
For those that weren't here then, how did we come across each other? Where were you at when you first started? Where were you at around that time? And then where are you at today?
All right. January of 2024. I was living a life of quiet desperation. I mean, I'd gotten to the point in my life to where, things were just kind of hopeless to me because I'd tried for years to get a grip on my health, but just couldn't seem to do it. And I came across you on TikTok, and it said Healthy Pitmaster, and I was literally sitting here eating a large pizza at that time. And I thought, cool, I knew what a pitmaster was. They cook food. But as you began to talk, you begin to talk about high blood pressure. And I thought, well, that's me. I was on 8 blood pressure pills a day. High cholesterol. I was on a statin medication. Overweight. Feeling tired all the time, and I got tired of hearing it, so I just bypassed you. There you was the next day, and I started really digging in, really listening to what you had to say. And from that point on, I listened to you for 6 months. I never did say anything in the chat. We didn't have any conversation, interaction, or anything. And
never asked a question. Never. I didn't know he was there.
Right.
First
right.
Off,
and
he's kind of a stalker kind of thing.
Kind of creepy, wasn't it? And I keep forgetting to tell this sometimes, but in March of 2024, Dr. Tiffany was talking about these things right here, these GLP-1 injections. I agreed to try them in March of 2024. This particular one was Manjaro. And $1,200 I scraped up for that, $300 an injection. And I would inject that on a Sunday. By Sunday night, I had a gut ache that was unbelievable. And by Monday, I literally could not leave my house. I could have bought stock in Angel Soft toilet paper from injecting that GLP-1 in me. I did not have success with it at all. Fast forward to June of 2024, I go see my doctor in Tupelo, Mississippi, and they did blood work on me that day. And the doctor comes back in there and tells me, I don't think you got but about 2 or 3 more years left, and then you'll be gone. And I'm like, I thought it was, what, something terminal or what's going on? He goes, you're on 25 pills per day. 8 of those are blood pressure pills. You're a type 2 diabetic. You're 492 pounds. You are not going to be around in 2 or 3 years. You're getting to the age now to where I just don't believe I'll see you in 2 or 3 years unless you get a grip on your health. And so So I left Tupelo and was driving back to Belmont, and I was thinking about the live streams I've seen from you and other people as well. And I came home, and as soon as I got in the door, I ordered the products. And so I started July 1st. The first thing that I noticed was the inflammation and the swelling that I had every morning in my knuckles and my ankles and my feet, my knees and stuff. The inflammation just started going away right off the bat. But my biggest problem for about the last 15 years is chronic fatigue. I was sleeping 10, 12 hours a day and waking up, sitting on the edge of the bed, wondering how I was going to get enough energy just to make it through the day. And second of all, wondering why I felt like crap. I had just been asleep 10 or 12 hours. I should be feeling good. And that just wasn't the case. And then second week on the Feel Great system, I started sleeping 6 and 7 hours, waking up feeling pretty doggone good. And then I started researching our products, and I came across a PubMed article that said the chlorogenic acid in our tea lowers blood pressure. Well, about week 4, the end of the first month, every time I'd get up out of my recliner, I'd get so dizzy and lightheaded that I'd literally have to hang on to the wall. And I thought, what is this stuff doing to me? And then I remembered reading that. I said, well, let's check my blood pressure. Well, it was 102/50. And I'm thinking, you know what? I don't need these 8 blood pressure pills every day. I began to come off of that losartan and come off the lisinopril and the clonidine and the amlodipine and the metoprolol and those things. And I've been on blood pressure medications for 34 years. And my glucose numbers, I started focusing on my glucose numbers because they were coming down. And I noticed they were coming down. And I'm still researching. And then I get to researching my metformin. And I saw where it causes vitamin B12 deficiency. Well, the last 10 years, my blood work showed that I was vitamin B12 deficient. And then I was like, wait just a minute. So I figured out that through Google and stuff like that, vitamin B12 deficiency is one of the #1 causes of having neuropathy. 12 years ago, when they put me on the 2,000 milligrams a day max dose, within 6 months, my toes and feet started going numb. Then that led to a burning, stinging sensation. And I go to the doctor, and they said, well, you got neuropathy because you got sugar. I was uneducated then, and I was just having to take their word for it because I thought that being a type 2 diabetic meant that I had a chronic onset condition that, that I couldn't ever fix. I'd always been told to eat less and move around more, but that the medicine would help me manage the problem. And now that I have totally reversed type 2 diabetes, I figured out that you can reverse this problem. And so at the end of the 90 days, I went back and had blood work again. My A1C had went from an 8.8 down to a 5.7. My endocrinologist nurse practitioner called, and she said, you don't have to take that metformin and glipizide anymore. You're within range now. And I said, well, I appreciate you calling me and letting me know that, because I quit taking that crap about 6 weeks ago. She's like, really? I was like, yeah. I said, y'all didn't tell me that I had a reversible condition. I said, y'all's plan was to eat less and move around more, which if you really dig deep and think about it, that's a pretty good idea. But I didn't want to manage the problem. I wanted to fix the problem. And so I'd lost like 66 pounds at the end of 90 days. I'd went from 25 pills a day down to like 9. 7 of those blood pressure pills I was able to come off of the 8 that I was taking. And then we fast forward now, I've been on the products for 10 and a half months. I'm down about 118 pounds. At the end of 9 months, I was down like 116, something like that. But I don't really focus on the scales anymore. Waking up every day compared to what I felt like 10 and a half months ago, I actually feel like getting up and doing something. I'm feeling good. To me, that's worth it all. I mean, like I said, I was living that life of quiet desperation. I just was hopeless. I had tried Herbalife. I had tried Isogenics. I tried Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Atkins. You lose a little weight on that stuff, but when you start calories in, calories out, weighing food, keeping up with points, it's just not really maintainable, sustainable, really. And they never offered me a 90-day money-back guarantee on those products. And I spent a lot of money on those products. And that was one of the big keys to me starting the Feel Great system, because I was a skeptical person. I was on a fixed income. I really didn't know if I could afford it or not. But, you know, when your doctor tells you you're not going to be around in 2 or 3 years, you got to figure out something. And, you know, it's been a life-changing experience in more ways than one. I've met friends through this company, through these products, and I've met you, and it's just been, met Dr. Tiffany in Huntsville. It's been a life-changing experience for me. So.
Oh.
You know what? I've heard that story about 150 times now, and I've never not loved it a little bit more every single time I hear it.
I know. I thought I put my pom-poms in retirement. I had to bring them back. I had to bring them back for that. Oh, good. Michael,
this
I love
picture
you.
is ridiculous, and I got to figure out maybe how to zoom in. I wonder if I can zoom in on it. Now that didn't really cover a whole lot, did it? But look at the difference just in his neckline.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually has a neck in picture in the after.
In the midsection.
It's crazy. In the midsection, obviously in the midsection. Then I was also looking at his ankles.
Yeah.
So, and then you can see that acanthosis nigricans on like his shin and his calves.
Yeah.
I mean, it was there. It's all these signs. Man,
yeah.
I love every bit of this, brother. It's been awesome. It's been awesome watching you and watching this transformation. And I know you've inspired hundreds now. And I love it. And look at this. I mean, you're getting all sorts of love in there.
Yeah.
Lenora's so proud of you, Michael. And I don't know how to say that. Is that Cha?
Yeah.
You look fantastic and younger. Mm-hmm. I love it. And that really is kind of the power of this also. And we don't talk enough about that, Doc, is the community that ultimately embraces people that, you know, I feel like at times we feel like we got to try and do this ourselves, and we don't. Yeah. Brother, I'm going to shut off your camera here. Will you stick around for me for about 13 minutes?
No problem.
All right, man. Okay, so I'm going to blaze through this part here because, you know, truthfully, Michael kind of touched on a couple things there.
He did.
Jennifer is saying, show us your bag of bottles. Jennifer or Michael, when you come back in, she wants to see that. If anybody hasn't seen that, there's a bag of bottles that he has. It's all of his former prescription medications.
Wow.
Okay, so how does this work? And Michael touched on chlorogenic acid. So I want to build on that really quick. There is this naturally occurring polyphenol. It occurs in vegetation. It occurs in plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, teas, coffees. It's exceptionally abundant in coffee, a green coffee bean. And green means not roasted yet. It's freshly harvested. And that chlorogenic acid, again, it's in teas. It's in apples, pears, miscellaneous vegetables. It's in a lot of different things. In fact, it's one of the most abundant polyphenols on earth. It really is the definition of all natural, right? It's something that occurs in vegetation. So that particular thing, chlorogenic acid, well, it's been associated with lowering blood glucose, with controlling insulin sensitivity. In fact, it's a novel insulin sensitizer. It acts similar to metformin. It has been shown to reduce blood pressure, as Michael talked about there. Systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized clinical trials showed that it reduced blood pressure, systolic and diastolic. And then it's also been shown to induce GLP-1 production. So the GLP-1 that Dr. Tiff was talking about there, chlorogenic acid actually makes your body do it naturally. It's one of those things that kind of signals the body, hey, make some of that. Now, Dr. Bickman, the guy that Dr. Tiff is a coach for, and Insulin IQ. I want to play this video of Dr. Bickman talking about that. Can you see my screen, Dr. Tiff? Yeah, you can, can't you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In March in Las Vegas is that this yerba mate supplement called Unimate also increases GLP-1. We found in this experiment we did, the GLP-1 levels went up by about 70% in a fasted states, which is pretty considerable.
That's pretty crazy. So that is Dr. Bickman, the world's leading metabolic scientist, talking about Unimate increases GLP-1 about to 70% during a fasted state. That's our tea. Now, there are a lot of other things that it does. It also promotes satiety, so it makes you feel full. It helps you extend the fast. It induces ketone production. It makes you produce ketones faster. And then it lowers blood pressure. There's all sorts of amazing things that it does. And then it also tastes really, really good. And so you can drink it hot or cold. Normally, I am drinking it out of my little Yeti tumbler mug here. This is what, a 30-ounce one. They're going to send you a bottle like Dr. Tiff has right there. They'll send you a brand new one. I actually brought mine today. Brand new bottle. And on the back of it, there's a line that says Unimate. You can fill this thing up with water to that line. That's 500 milliliters, half liter. And add your packet to it, shake it up, and then just sip on it, kind of like Dr. Tiff is doing. Or maybe you want a bigger bottle. This is a 1 liter version of the same thing. Add more water. It's one packet. I just like it. It's a little more diluted, and I tend to sip on it when it's more, like this. It's getting warmer in Colorado, so I will tend to kind of gravitate over towards a cold one for my second one. This is actually my third one. I want to point out that it's about 10 minutes to 7 in Denver, Colorado. Never would you ever see me drinking coffee 10 minutes to 7 o'clock at night. I wouldn't be able to sleep all night long. I will drink this up until 10 p.m. and not have it it doesn't affect my sleep. The other thing is none of us ever get the jitters. What you get is a very even boost of energy. And in fact, Dr. Tiff, I don't know how you feel about this. I'm kind of, again, going off script, and we don't really have a script, but I can't imagine doing a live stream or talking about these products without having it right next to me. It seems weird. The mental clarity is just there. It is there. I see over on TikTok, Esma says, how can you get this ordered? Okay, so bear with me, Esma. First off, Esma, I'm assuming you stumbled across this live on TikTok. Just send me a message and I'll get you pointed in the right direction. And anybody else who did stumble across this, get with Dr. Tiff or myself. Wherever you're finding us, get with either one of us and we'll point you in the right direction. If you were referred to this live stream by somebody, get with them and they will share it out to you. So Esma, just send me a direct message and I will point you in the right direction, okay? But the tea costs a whopping $2.25. And here's my math. Follow me here. You can buy the tea in bulk. It's two boxes. They call it a booster pack, and that's 60 packets. That booster pack costs $135. That would give you 60 packets. That would give you 2 per day. So if you had 2 of those per day, that would break down to $4.50 a day or $2.25 per packet. That's pretty amazing when you can get a 1 liter drink that's full of something that induces GLP-1. It tastes good. It makes you feel amazing. It's all natural energy. That's really what it is, Dr. Tiff. It just gives you real good energy, sustainable energy. If you're waking up, like Michael said, and just feeling exhausted and feeling like you can't get it going, this will change that. $2.25, $135 a month. Now, The kit actually costs $159. The additional $24 is a product called Balance. Now, Balance is a patented blend of 7 different plant-based fibers and a multivitamin. Now, Michael also talked about B12 deficiencies and neuropathy. Interestingly enough, Balance has 1,040% of your recommended daily intake of B12. So if you are one of these people that's B12 deficient, each packet has 1,040% of your recommended daily intake. It's actually a full B complex. It's got B6, B9, and B12. It's also got chromium and zinc and riboflavin and niacin. It's a full multivitamin and 7 different plant-based fibers. Now, what it does, it was really designed to help you with heart health, cholesterol, homocysteine levels, and it's actually been proven, double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized clinical trial at the Cleveland Clinic. That study was peer-reviewed, published, and it's been cited 20 times. It's very powerful. What they said was that it could potentially decrease the need and or dose for statin medications.
Yep.
That's one of the most widely prescribed medications in the world. Atorvastatin, rosuvastatin, simvastatin, these types of things. Crestor, Lipitor, there's an all-natural alternative, guys. It's called fiber. It's called fiber. And this particular blend of fiber with the multivitamin has been studied all over the world, but specifically at the Cleveland Clinic, and that is the #1 heart hospital in the United States. Now, you take one of these, the same thing, that bottle has a little line that says Balance on it. You fill it up to there with cold water. I like really cold water with it. Like I have the refrigerator thing.
Yeah.
I use that water, fill it up to that line, add the packet, shake it up about 7 or 8 times. You don't need to sit there and shake this thing like you're playing that little, whatever that instrument is, right? The
tambourine.
The tambourine. Yeah, you don't need to, you're not doing that. We're going to go like 6 or 7 times, something like that. And then we're going to chug it. You're going to drink that thing like you're in college at a frat party, as quick as you can get it down the hatch. And then you're going to enjoy your meal. And I like to say it like that. Then you're going to enjoy your meal. Unicity guarantees you're going to be satisfied with this product. If you are not satisfied, ask for a refund. They will give you all of your money back. 90-day guarantee. They guarantee that if you try their products for 90 days, you will feel great. And I want to emphasize that. You will feel great. We talk about these amazing success stories, reversal of diabetes, people losing weight, all of these crazy things. Unicity doesn't even say that. They just say that if you drink their stuff, you will feel amazing. And if you don't, they will give you your money back. Just think of the magnitude of that statement. They guarantee, it's called the Feel Great system. So how do you order it? You get with the person who brought you here. If you stumbled across us, just get with Dr. Tiff or myself. I will add that it is HSA and FSA approved.
Yep.
Okay. So what did I miss, Dr. Tiff? Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
I want to bring our guests back out. And if anybody has any questions, and have I missed any questions at all, Dr. Tiff? Did I miss anybody? Did anybody, if somebody asked a question?
Oh, I did. There was a question asking, can you test for GLP-1? You cannot test that lab.
Is GLP-1 seen in lab work? I see that question right there. Okay.
I saw that.
Okay. Yep. What questions, and I want everybody to take advantage of this. We have Dr. Tiffany, a 20-year medical doctor here on her time. I'm not paying her. We're not paying her. She's just doing this to answer questions. And then we've got 2 amazing success stories here to answer any questions. And while I'm waiting for some questions, I want to ask a question that I ask everybody, and I'll start with Annie. There are a lot of people that are skeptical, and it sounds like you were skeptical as well, Annie. Like you said your friend had been telling you about this for 10 months. There's a lot of people that are sitting on the fence and they're thinking this is too good to be true. There's no way this is real. What would you, if you had 30 seconds, what do you say to that person?
I say, literally you have nothing to lose. 90-day money back guarantee. Do it and you will not regret it. The only regret that I have is that I didn't start it sooner. I did not look at that link that my friend sent me sooner.
Yep.
Dr. Tiff, I have a question, and it's from TikTok. It says, I had pancreatitis in the past. My docs never agreed for GLP-1 medication. How can I know this pro? I think I need a little bit of clarification on the question. I'm going to stick around for a little bit, okay? Looks like Tanya tried to answer that question over there. I don't think I got a question out of that, Dr. Tiff.
Not really, but I mean, there aren't any known contraindications to doing these products. Okay, that's one thing. I mean, the only thing you want to play around with is if you have to be on medications, watch when you do the balance, because balance does such a great job at covering our stomach. If you have something that needs to be absorbed while you're on the balance, you don't need to take it. But that's it. Outside of that, there isn't anything that we know that's going to interact with doing this thing.
Okay, so here's the question. She did clarify, and I think you just answered it. Can I still try it with a history of pancreatitis?
We don't have any known issues with that. But what that person would need to do is they need to be in real good close contact with their sponsor. One that could kind of walk them through, maybe backing down the balance if needed. But that's not the same issue with it really shouldn't actually play a role at all, honestly.
Perfect. And then this one I think is for you, Dr. Tiff, because you would know the tests for that. How do we tell our B12 levels?
Yeah, you get your doctor to check it. And they check those fairly regularly. That's one of the vitamins they do check. Literally just checking vitamin B12 when you're asking about things like feeling numbness or feeling fatigue. That's usually something that comes right into mind. And I mean, that's one of the most widely checked vitamins.
Renisha, I'll take this one, asks, is the plant in Unimate safe? The plant is the yerba plant, and I will just lead with this. It is the most widely consumed drink in South America and has been for about 1,000 years now. If it wasn't safe, there wouldn't be people on South America. There would be nobody there. It is very safe to drink. They've been drinking it for about 1,000 years. Give or take. In fact, the indigenous people would refer to it as the drink of the god. The drink of the gods. It is the national drink of Argentina. It has been very widely consumed for a very long time. Yes, it is very safe. It's just tea. Now, Unimate is a very special version of yerba mate. What they do is they extract the good stuff out of that. Now I'm going to dig in a little bit deeper on that. The yerba leaf, the way that it's traditionally served is they fire roast it, and then they serve it loose leaf they steep it in hot water, and then you sip it. And what they've done, what Unicity has done, is they've taken that, they've still fire roasted the same leaves in a very similar way to the way that it's always been done, but then they extract the good things like chlorogenic acid and theobromine and the mate saponins and a bunch of stuff that we like, stuff that's really good for our bodies, but then they cleanse it. They get rid of the things that we don't like pesticides and heavy metals and that sort of stuff, and then they concentrate it. And so it is very, very potent, and it's very, very pure. It's an amazingly pure tea. It's just the best version of an already amazing tea. How about that? You can. I've got another question here. I'm going to take a few questions here since we're getting them. Wonder Love over on TikTok asks, so you can still take your medicine with the balanced fiber? Yes. In fact, we're not telling you to stop taking any medication whatsoever. These are food-based products. Add these to your daily regimen, and you're going to notice things like just simply feeling great, but you're probably, and I'd be willing to bet, and Unicity is willing to bet, that you're going to start to see your glucose numbers decline, your cholesterol levels decline, your blood pressure. Those things will improve. And when they do, you get with your doctor and talk to them about reducing your medications. So these are just food-based products. They're very pure and very perfect versions of those food-based products, but these are not medicines. Oftentimes people get confused there and they think that these are medicines. They're not medicines. This is a very perfect version of tea and a very perfect version of fiber. I hope that answers Wonder Love's question, and I hope you don't mind my answering that question.
No, that was good, but check on your pharmaceutical bottle. If it's something that says you have to be taking it on an empty stomach, then the balance may be an issue. Again, that's part of the whole having a sponsor and connecting with someone that can get you the right answers, so where you aren't flapping in the wind doing things incorrectly.
Lori, no, it won't be on your lipids panels. It would be a standalone test, wouldn't it?
It's an actual separate test that literally says vitamin B12. It's not a fancy name for it.
Yep. Michael, we just got another one. Will balance cover meds so they won't get absorbed? Tara asks on TikTok, will balance cover meds so they won't get absorbed?
So it's blocking sugar and cholesterol, but there are some medications like seizure medications. That's why I said this is a sponsored thing. This is when it's starting to get out the scope of things. But there's some medications that are so specific that they have to be on an empty stomach. Those are the only ones that the balance would be an issue for. But everything else, the balance is fine. It's really focusing on cholesterol and sugar, decreasing that absorption.
I love the interaction. I love these questions, and I know we're a little bit long. I'm going to ask Michael to answer that one question there. If you've got a skeptic right in front of you, 30 seconds. Michael, what do you say to the person who's skeptical watching this and thinking there's no way, this is too good to be true?
These products are called the Feel Great system for a reason. If you don't feel great every day, then there's probably an issue. And, if you were on all of this stuff right here that I was on, that's a lot of chemicals to try to take every day. A lot of medications to try to manage your issues. And once you understand the role of insulin, do your research. Once you understand the role of insulin, it will go off like light bulbs. It did for me. And once I understood that role and then the process of fixing the insulin resistance, for a little, I needed the tools to help me. And these are basically tools. And for a little over $5 a day and a 90-day money-back guarantee, what are you waiting for? If what you've been doing in the past is not working, why not give this a try? You don't have a thing to lose.
I want to emphasize Wonder Love is the one that was asking the question about so you can still take your medicine with the balanced fiber. She just added in, I'm on the system and doing great. I love that. I love that. Michael, Annie, thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. I love these stories. Annie, I loved hearing your story. I'm glad I got to hear it. I missed it last night. I'm sorry I missed it last time, but I'm glad I got to hear it today. And it sounds like it was even more in depth today. And I would love to, in the future, and you just stay in contact with Dr. Tiff. Dr. Tiff, I would love to have her son on and, a potential follow-up with her husband who's on kidney dialysis. I would love to have that conversation as well. I can tell you, I have had a number of people who have reversed varying stages of kidney failure. I've had stage 4 reversals, stage 3 reversals. I've seen just some crazy things with this stuff. So I would love to have your husband's story down the road for sure. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and shut those cameras off. I'm going to start winding it up. I promise I will. We're a little long, but Dr. Tiff, I love the questions. I love getting the questions answered.
Oh, yes. I'm glad we had some questions.
Yeah. What do you say, Doc?
Like I say every week. If you're like Michael Martin and you have all those bags of drugs, but you're even worse, you're just not taking anything and your doctor just keeps giving you meds and you're like, I'm not taking them, and your health is going down the toilet, stop. We actually have come across a product that can actually help you. And so it makes you do the lifestyle changes that are going to reverse these things. We're not saying anything magical, but it makes it to where you don't want to eat those things like you used to. You have more energy. You sleep better. It gets me all the lifestyle things that I want to do to help you. So don't be sitting there not doing anything. That's who I'm drawn to.
Esma says, that is me. Esma, send me a direct message on TikTok and I will point you in the right direction. And anybody else to that point, I know Dr. Tiffany, you've already said it early in the live stream, but how does somebody find you?
Dr. Tiffany Marie on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
And you can find me as the Healthy Pit Master. You can see it right here on every major social media platform. Dr. Tiff, I appreciate you so much.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yes. Thank you.